Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm April Martinez.
And I'm Paul Lopez.
And good morning. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning. It's Thursday.
It is Thursday, and you know, for the past few weeks, I've been seeing you like twice a week, and now I'm only seeing you once a week. So it's good to see you.
You know, I'm a staple on Thursday.
Yes, you are.
And so that's what that is. You will see me on Thursdays as long as God permits life and health and strength and the producer, the vision to keep me on. That's just a job. But it's always a pleasure to be on, April. Mm-hmm. It's always a pleasure to wake up with our Belizeans and to just have some clean, fun conversations at times, some eye-opening conversations.
We had to learn. One of the things I really like that John mentioned, I don't think he mentioned it on camera, but he said that Open Your Eyes is like college. Mm-hmm. You get to learn something new every single day. Every single day. So when you open your eyes and start your morning right with us, you get to learn alongside us, your hosts. So I'm very, very excited about today's conversations. But before we get into all of that, of course, we always tell you what's buzzing from our headlines the night before on our newscast at 6. And interesting conversations, interesting interesting stories. I think that one of the most important ones is the tropical system that is kind of taking place around the Eastern Caribbean. That's slowly making its way here. The folks at the Met Service are tracking that as we speak, and of course we will get an update when we hear from them this morning. But you know, we are in the height of hurricane season, and so any movement within the Atlantic Ocean, any movement within the Caribbean Sea, we have to make sure that we are prepared, even if it's not coming directly towards us, even if it doesn't come at us at all, we will get affected with the rains, and Hurricane Ian is a testament to that. You know?
Yeah, April, the thing is that we are in that season. Yeah. We're in that time when we see a lot of storms develop, particularly within the Caribbean, and move particularly towards Central America. Yeah. And so that's what we're seeing with this system. We received an update, of course, yesterday from our friends over there at the Met Service. Mm-hmm. And from the looks of it, this storm will definitely make landfall in Central America. Yeah. And what that could mean for Belize, heavy rainfall.
Because it seems that its trajectory is heading towards Nicaragua.
But you know how these things work. Yes. If it makes landfall in Nicaragua, we're talking about a lot of rain. Mm-hmm. We're talking about possible flooding, and these systems aren't necessarily so small that they won't affect Belize. Yeah. That's one thing to consider. And so for us, the main thing is to please keep monitoring the system. As a Belizean, keep monitoring this system. And the second thing is to be prepared.
Yes, that was going to be
as prepared as you can be for a system like this one.
I think whenever we think hurricane, we do think about lots of heavy rains, lots of winds, roofs flying off homes and so forth. But we don't necessarily think about ramifications of what would happen with heavy rains within the Caribbean Sea, because the sea levels will rise automatically. And even if we don't get harsh rains, even if we get harsh winds, the sea levels will rise and Belize will flood, because Belize is technically below sea level. Belize City is definitely below sea level. And so we need to monitor these things to be prepared for, more than anything, possible flooding within our lowland areas.
Yeah, and then I would imagine that we will get some of those winds coming from it, just because based on what we heard last night from the update from our meteorologist over there at the Met Services, that the system is a bit far off. It's only entered into the Eastern Caribbean Sea as of yesterday, and so they're still monitoring its trajectory.
Yeah.
Indications, however, are that Belize, once it makes landfall as a tropical storm or at least a Category 1 hurricane, that Belize will experience some of those winds. Some models even taking it to Nicaragua, and then pushing it up back to Belize for a second landfall. And so with all variables at play right now, it's definitely something that as Belizeans we should take seriously, monitor, and see how we could safeguard our lives and our properties.
I mean, like we had folks from NEMO, the folks from the Met Service come to the studio a couple weeks ago to discuss that, safety measures, risk measures, where you can find the nearest hurricane shelter. These are distributed on their various online platforms. The representative, I think it was Colonel DeFore, mentioned that, you know, not all of these schools are hurricane shelters. Just because it's a school does not make it an automatic hurricane shelter. So please make sure that you are well aware of the safest, nearest hurricane shelter in your community. If you are in an area that is prone to flooding, please ensure that you move all items up as best as you can, take them to a higher location, and of course you yourself relocate to a higher location.
April, we're moving on, right? Because we're going from this this weather system taking its path to moving now to Belmopan, to
which
a
was
wall.
created because of a hurricane. I'm just saying it's a good segue.
Well, it's to a wall blocking a path.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. I live there. And I honestly didn't know about the wall until I saw the newscast.
The great
big wall that
and
apparently Belizeans are not paying for.
This is not the southern border of the United States of America. This is not China. This is in Belmopan.
You know, I was watching this headline, this newscast last night, and I was trying to figure out where in Belmopan this is, because I haven't seen this.
Okay.
But we mentioned where is the road, and it is not.
There is
yes.
There
so
is a
that is
location.
so that particular road right there.
Yeah.
Is connecting like where you go from Lands in Belmopan.
So that's called the Queen Elizabeth II Boulevard.
And then going towards
the George Price Boulevard.
Right.
So it's a lengthy. It's a long road.
Yes, but a lot of private homes are back there, and the one of the more important, well, not more important, but something that I think that is to be considered is one of the where the U.S. housing employees live. That's their housing area as well.
Indeed.
And so I don't know how we or why the person that owns the land felt the need that they're going to put a wall.
Well, that's their land, April.
Yes,
you have to understand that.
Yes, but I mean, if it's
an
open road.
Well,
if it's an open road, and you know,
I buy this road. I buy this road, and I buy this road through the legal means, so that my road. And in fact, everybody when they drive on this road, they drive on my land. You imagine people just they drive up and down your property, and one day you decide, you know what? I will build a fence, and this fence will block the roadway.
I mean, what is the purpose of it? What are they gonna get from this?
This their land. You don't have to question what they will get from it.
The logic does not apply, and for my brain to comprehend, it does not make sense unless they're looking to do away with the entire pathway altogether and create a new housing area.
There's many that argue, as you are rightfully arguing, that the entire sale of this area made no sense and is incomprehensible, right? Because what happened was in 2019, the then Belmopan City Council decided that they would de-reserve a portion of what would have been the Philip Golson Boulevard. And this made up a portion of it. The unfortunate thing here is that this particular pathway where the fence is on, because what you can't see is how far it expands.
Right.
So it extends from the boulevard that way.
Yeah.
On the other side of the fence you're seeing there.
All the way go all the way around to see where.
Of course, you have to go all the way around. But the unfortunate thing is that this particular pathway was in use, and it was heavily trafficked by those community members in the area. But as I observed it, you can't fault the landowner per se.
I have a hypothesis.
Because they bought the land that was so de-reserved and sold by the Belmopan City Council.
Fine. I have a hypothesis.
Yeah.
The maths never work in the favor. Because you're looking at this and it's like an extension into another part. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. So if you're telling me that entire wall is canvassing or creating that perimeter for the land itself.
That's what it's doing.
That no makes sense. that bad maths. And if I don't know, I'm sorry that I'm yelling, but for me, I need this to make sense. If you told me that you bought a parcel for X amount of square meters, then you're telling me that you incorporated an open road within that parcel.
Well, remember the road existed.
That's what I'm trying to say. The road existed. So you are telling me that you incorporated that open road within that parcel. When you draw the map for the parcels that you sell, you incorporated that road.
Well, that road becomes non-existent.
Right.
Once you begin to survey that piece of property, then the only reason why the roads still exist are because there were heavily traversed areas. So, I mean, otherwise it would have been bush. Would have been grass growing. So you see along in front of the, you see another road adjacent, running adjacent. The situation with that road now is that it doesn't connect directly onto the boulevard the way this one connects. So that's one issue. The second issue is if you want to use that road, the other road, you would have to still drive onto another person's property, lower down, using this very same road that was blocked off to then get on
to get onto
the boulevard.
I am not the most bright person when it comes to math, but that no makes sense.
And then
that no happen.
And then the other thing is this same area that was de-reserved, our BWS main line runs along it. So what would happen? What would happen, April? So that's where they have to go to get back onto the street that was blocked off. The street that was blocked off, obviously all of that are real estate properties. So you see this vehicle driving back onto the street from the adjacent street and then onto the boulevard. But again, all of that, that's a sold property. That's bought and owned for the most part. They already have, in fact, those properties already have owners based on the title I'm seeing. So now imagine this main water line. Somebody builds a house on that main water line. And then it busts. So what you are telling me, knock knock, I have to broke through your kitchen. Broke through your kitchen for go and fix this. I don't know, April.
Channel 5 viewers, I apologize for my outburst, but these are the things that that you are as a person. So the woman that reported it, she has all rights to be upset.
Well, of course.
And the reality is that if you are a citizen that lives in Belmopan, you should be upset.
Yeah.
Because that does not, it's not comprehensible.
Yeah.
It does not make sense. That's why I'm trying to say, I wonder if there was a mishap, a miscalculation in the square footage. Because at the end of the day, when you're selling these parcels, you have to make sure that you're appealing, even if the road is a small castway, even if it's a strip, that is still a place where people traverse.
Yeah,
so the
indeed.
fact that you're putting it as a part of the parcel does not make sense. And even worse so, that is running on a water pipeline is running underneath. Clearly, that part is in use for public use.
Yeah.
So regardless if you bought your land and it's private, that still is public.
Yeah, and we don't even want to begin to talk about reclamation from the government and
It's our tax dollars again.
because we're talking about $1 million, we're talking about market value. So the big question is right now, April, who's at fault? Who's to be held responsible? Obviously, a lot of fingers are being pointed at the former Belmopan City Council and their leadership under former Mayor Khalid Bilal,
Yeah.
but they're out of office.
Yeah. This administration.
This
has
one resident also suggested that those buyers be held accountable because they knew what they were doing.
Okay, there's so many players here.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be pointing fingers at anybody, but here's my 2 cents. If you are a landowner, I don't know if you've ever done surveying for land lots before or anything like that.
Not necessarily.
But when you do these things, you have to look at parcels, right? You have to look at your posts. You have to make sure that you are getting the square meters that you are supposed to get in order for your purchase to be approved, right? So there's so many measures that go into how much you apply for, how much you get, and how much is within that vicinity. If you're a land buyer, the fact that you saw that road should have been an automatic question mark. It should have been. And but then I don't know who's the buyer. I don't know what the purpose of the wall is. Is it for home use? Is it for commercial use?
Well, I'll
know.
end with this, April. It's prime real estate. We're talking about the lands department nearby. We're talking about a connection between two boulevards. We're talking about the U.S. Embassy residency. Right in front of the lands department, there are parcels of lands that are to be developed for a future community. And we're talking about prime real estate within that future community as well. So my understanding is that these went for below market value. A lot of them. So imagine how much more can be made at market value. And when you come to prime real estate, April, and when you come to real estate in Belize, obviously there's a lot to be desired. And that's where I leave that.
I will agree. And especially in that particular area, there are a lot of gated communities. And so I guess for putting up a wall to block people from going into your property is not something that is unseen. It's just the first time that I've seen it on an open road. In a capital city.
Right.
So I think we're going to have to look further into it. I don't believe we should leave it alone, because then it begs the question about other properties being sold in the area. Now you have to go back and look again and see the properties and make sure that everybody's getting the correct lot that they're supposed to.
No, we're following up on others. I'll say that much.
All right. Well, Paul got you covered. But we hope that you have been watching the headlines. You keep up with the news daily so that you're aware of the social issues that are happening in your communities. But we're going to keep on motivating you this morning with our eye opener for today. And our eye opener is taken from dailyyoung.com, and it goes like this. When we rush through our days and lives, we fail to notice the simple beauty of living. Throughout our lives, we are taught to value speed and getting things done quickly. We learn that doing more is valuable than merely being, and that making the most of life is a matter of forging ahead at a hurried pace. Yet, we lurch forward in the search of some elusive sense of fulfillment. We find ourselves feeling increasingly hurried and disconnected. More importantly, we fail to notice the simple beauty of living. When we learn to slow down, we rediscover the significance of seemingly inconsequential aspects of life. Mealtimes become mediative celebrations of nourishment. A job well done becomes a source of profound pleasure. No matter what the nature of our labors, in essence, we give ourselves the gift of time to indulge our curiosity, to enjoy the moment, to appreciate worldly wonders, to sit and think, to connect with others, and to explore our inner landscape more fully. You may find it challenging to avoid giving into the temptation to rush, particularly if you have acclimated to a world of split-second communication, cell phones, emails, and overflowing agendas. Yet, the sense of continuous accomplishment you lose when you slow down will quickly be replaced by feelings of magnificent content. Your relaxed tempo will open your mind and heart to deeper levels of awareness that help you discover the true gloriousness of being alive.
This is a message for me this morning. April.
Yeah?
Why?
Okay,
I
tell
tend
me
to,
why.
I tend to rush a lot. I tend to want to get through my days. I do, and I
Really?
tend to want to, especially if I have a lot of work on hand, I tend to want to get those assignments out of the way. And this is basically showing or telling me that I could slow down, that there's room for slowing down, that there's room for enjoying the moments you're in. Because for somebody like me, when my mind is in a pace of work and movement, I just want to keep moving. I want to keep going. I want to keep rushing per se. And that helps. For me, that's how I'm productive. But I also understand that there are those moments when you just have to slow down and listen to the birds, look into the sky. You ever just take a moment during the nighttime and like, oh, the moon is out.
Yeah.
Oh, the stars are above my head, shining. Times when you would be rushing and you don't take times to look and enjoy those little things in life.
I think that we've become this culture of work, time is money.
Yeah.
Right? And we forget that time is time.
Time is time.
And you don't get back a lot of things. You don't get back spending enough time with your family. You don't get back making sure that you check in on the people that you care about. You don't get back that time. You simply continue on. And when you've reached a certain point in your life, when you look back and you look at all of these accomplishments, all of these things that you were rushing so hard to get, and if there's nobody there for you to enjoy the fruits of your labor, then have you really accomplished?
Yeah.
Do you get that sense of fulfillment when you get it done, but do you get that sense of fulfillment that you've enjoyed the ride along the way? And it's that enjoyment is those touch points of humility, are those touch points of the people that were there to help you out, and those moments of appreciation that help you to feel better when you've accomplished said tasks. So, I don't know, I take my time to smell the flowers every once in a while. I enjoy sacred spaces. I love being on top of a hill and just like breathing and making sure that I feel the universe and the gods and the ancestors and everybody with me, because that is how I think I will get through my day.
A lot of people there too, if they roll it a whole passe.
Like I tell you something, you can't block me, my ancestors are by my side. But it's a good conversation to have.
It is.
To take time to smell the flowers, and I know that's cliche, but you should. And with that said, we should take time to get our weather for this morning. We have to make sure that you can't rush. That you can't rush. You have to make sure that you pay keen attention to the development in the Eastern Caribbean. So let's see, we have Francisca Wellington with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, April.
How are you?
I'm Paul.
Good morning.
How are you, Auntie?
I'm good, and let me share with you. I just got a text from California saying, "Hello, Auntie Punch."
You say, I asked my daddy, right? I said, I wonder if I could have called she Auntie Punch on the phone. And he said, no, do that. I'm like, all right, then I can. Well, friends, tell us the general situation for this morning.
Okay, we are seeing lots of sunshine out there currently, but the conditions are still relatively moist and unstable. But for today, we'll be seeing, like I said, lots of sunshine. We'll be seeing some cloudy spells, and we are seeing mostly isolated showers or thunderstorms. Over southern areas, we'll see slightly more than that for today.
Okay.
And then later tonight, we'll see an increase along the coast.
And how does that affect our winds?
So we are having northeasterly winds at the moment, 5 to 15 knots, producing slight seas and 1 to 3 feet waves beyond the reef.
So I imagine then that our temperatures are going to be in the east today, hot.
Okay, it will be about 87 along the coast, 92 inland, and 80 up in the mountains. But I remember you were asking me, or John was asking me about, sometimes we say one temperature, but it feels
like another.
Well, right, that's what we call the heat index. And I believe today, because remember I said it's still moist, we'll be having high index values.
Okay. And our lows?
Okay, so tonight we are seeing 65 up in the Maya Mountains, 70 inland, and 77 along the coast.
Okay. And how about our weather conditions for Friday and Friday night?
Okay, I'm seeing a slight increase tomorrow. So I'm going for a few showers and isolated thunderstorms around the country.
And let's talk about that that tropical system that is forming along the East Caribbean.
Okay, so it's still a disturbance. It hasn't formed a depression yet, but the latest bulletin from Hurricane Center say there's an 80% chance that it can become a depression during the next day or two.
And how are we preparing for that? How are we seeing the trajectory moving towards us?
Currently, the models, they're still projecting it towards Nicaragua, but we will know better when it becomes a depression. We will know the track for sure. But let me just say this, with dealing with the weather and dealing with these large-scale systems, anything can happen, because a few miles dealing with synoptic systems are nothing.
Right.
Okay, so the track might be saying Nicaragua, Honduras, but a few miles farther north, it can happen. So all I want to tell Belizeans, be prepared. And even if this system does not hit us directly, we will still get a lot of rain out of it, especially central and southern parts of Belize.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask, because with large systems like these, there's outer bands, there's storms on the exterior that would still affect Belize and still bring a lot of rainfall. So people shouldn't let their guards down because, that they hit Nicaragua or that they hit off the whole coast of Honduras, when in essence we're all one landmass.
That's right. And it depends on the strength of the system when it reaches our area. And you rightly said, in the outer band, you can have little storms. You recall that tornado-like system that happened in Cookie Tree a couple of years ago?
Yeah, that been wild.
When the hurricane was hitting south of Belize.
Yeah.
You recall that? So you said something very important there, Paul.
We have to, if anything Hurricane Mitch has taught us is that anything is possible.
Right.
Well, Francisca, thank you so much for that update. And of course, we will be keeping tabs along the Met service later on in our newscast tonight. Have a great day, Tia.
Thank you. Same to you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, there you have it. Like I said, we will be keeping tabs, and you can catch more of the weather forecast in our newscast tonight at 6 p.m. But we're moving into our show for this morning, and beginning this conversation, which I always I always love these conversations.
Yeah.
Paul is like, yeah, great. But we are having the conversation about World Indigenous Resistance Day. And that is going to be held on Monday,
It's
which
the
is
first
it is
year we're celebrating World Indigenous
it's not
Resistance.
the first year of the holiday, but it is the first year that we have acknowledged that it's no longer Columbus or Pan American Day or Dia de las Razas or whatever you have you. It is Indigenous Resistance Day.
So it's the first year we're celebrating
it as such.
Yeah.
Well, it is the first year nationally we are celebrating it as such. Indigenous communities have been celebrating it like this for a very long time. So in Zoom, we will be speaking to Adela Peterson Vallejos, who is the president of Tuun Masawalun, and it's an NGO dedicated to Indigenous resistance.
I love how you said that word so easily.
It's a lot of practice.
And April, in our second conversation, we are having our friends who are hosting the Taiwan Expo in Belize.
More culture.
Man, I'm telling you. And so we're having some good folks over there from the embassy. And that will be a fun conversation because you want to hear all about Taiwan's Expo in Belize.
Of course. And we are wrapping things off with more culture by discussing the Macaw breeding season. Yes. And that we'll be having members from the FCD in to tell us about the success of the Macaw breeding season. It's so nice. We started the show with animals and we're slowly segueing the end of the week with animals. I love that. But before we get into all of that, we'll take a break and we'll be right back.
Hola usuario de eCash, la aplicación eCash está disponible en español. Cambiar el idioma de tu aplicación de eCash de inglés a español es rápido y sencillo. Déjame mostrarte cómo se hace. Primero, abre tu aplicación eCash. Introduce tu PIN. Toca el icono More en la parte inferior de tu pantalla. Selecciona Security. Selecciona Language. Y luego selecciona Spanish. Vuelve a introducir tu PIN y ya está. Tu aplicación de eCash está ahora en español y puedes seguir disfrutando de tu cartera digital eCash. La aplicación eCash de Belize Bank te hace la vida más fácil.
What is Amnesty 2022? An opportunity for undocumented immigrants living in Belize. Belize wants to help you to live freely and continue contributing to those communities you and your family now call home by offering a pathway to permanent residency. Why should you apply? In doing so, you remove barriers and reduce the difficulties faced living as an undocumented immigrant. Applying is easy. Go online to www.immigration.gov.bz for more information. Find out if you qualify, how to apply, what documents you need, and how to book your appointment. Be prepared. The registration period will be from the 2nd of August to the 30th of November 2022. Belize Amnesty 2022. Let's continue to build Belize together.
Everyone, including our elderly, needs to stay connected with their loved ones. With Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program, senior citizens can sign up for 10 megabytes of unlimited internet at a low monthly cost of $25. Citizens over 65 can sign up with a valid ID and receive free installation plus 1 month free on selected broadband plans. Visit a Smart showroom near you for more information on how you can enjoy Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program. Smart, bringing people together.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for financial literacy journalism.
And we are back, and joining us via Zoom, we have with us Adela Peterson Vallejos, along with a full staff, a full house. And Adela is the president of To'one Masewalun, which is an NGO stationed in Corozal. And Adela, I will give you the opportunity to introduce the members of your party this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Well, I am the president of To'one Masewalun. Pleased to be with everybody this morning. This is Mr. Roy Rodriguez, our vice president.
Hi, Mr. Roy. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Good morning.
And then we have Ms. Sadie Vales, the coordinator of the Corozal House of Culture. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And we have Ms. Christina. She's director of music for our cultural preservation group.
Good morning.
And of course, we have Cecil Ha, our teaching puppet.
Ah.
How do you say good morning in Yucatec?
Malokin.
Malokin.
Malo.
Kin. So
Kin.
kin. Like
Malokin.
Malokin.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, I wanted to, I asked about the language because I know that it's no secret, Miss Adela, that one of the reasons why To'one exists is because you wanted to connect with your Yucatec heritage through language. So let's start with your NGO. Tell us about it.
Yes, our NGO started 6 years ago, and we have a bold mission statement, and it is to preserve every aspect of the Yucatec Maya culture. So the main one starting with the language, and this is where we go into Resistance Day celebration. You know, because of colonialism, the language has practically been eradicated from the people. Today's current generation does not know how to speak the language of their ancestry, the Yucatec Maya language, and that's what we do primarily. Is we teach everyone that has a listening ear to speak Yucatec Maya, and we need to preserve this culture for the next generations. One of the biggest travesty is to eradicate a language from a people, and that is exactly what is happening in Belize. So that is our main focus, but beyond that, we go and we are preserving the spirituality, which is another way of resistance, because we have such a backlash from different groups that will say that the Maya spirituality is tantamount to hedonism and all this negativity, but we are right there at the forefront, quietly, gently resisting to this day, that we are so excited that for the first time, the country of Belize is recognizing that the Maya people, the indigenous people of Belize do exist, that they have contributed a lot to this country, and they should be celebrated. They should be prideful of what they have managed to maintain up to this day. So that's what we're about.
How much resistance have you seen when it comes to the younger generation, this generation, in terms of embracing the language, in terms of embracing the culture?
We are reaping the effects of colonialism, in which the younger generation does not understand connecting to your identity, connecting to your roots, connecting to your ancestry, connecting to your spirituality. That incentive has been removed from the current generation. Our group here in Corozal, we are very lucky that the now generation that we work with have a approached us and asked us to help them to speak Yucatec Maya. This summer with Miss Christina and I, we actually had an opportunity to teach the children about the Maya spirituality. So on our event coming up on Monday, we are going to incorporate the children in our the first event, which is the ritual to the cardinal points, and the children will be involved in that. So that is one more area in which we are gently resisting.
Let's talk about the education to the wider population of Belize. So when we think about the Maya in Belize, when we think about our indigenous population in Belize, we often classify them as mestizo, or we often classify them as just one big group. Tell us how To'one is breaking those kinds of myths and showcasing the uniqueness of each culture in Belize.
Thank you very much. Wonderful question. The way how we are doing it is by educating, and we have wonderful educators in our group. And the area of the mestizaje, we teach people. The best way to explain that is the International Labor Organization has tried to define what being indigenous means. And it means that if your ancestry goes back to before colonialism or before the invaders came, then you are indigenous. Now it's left to you to self-identify as indigenous. However, what has happened with colonialism is that in Belize, the people will just look at a brown person like myself and say, hey, you must be a mestizo. So I have to self-identify and say, no, I am Maya because my grandfather was Maya. And so most people, this education has started in the schools, in the homes, and they will say, well, you look brown and you look like a Spanish boy, you must be mestizo. And so we take on that label of being mestizo. But actually mestizo comes from a discriminatory expression, meaning that because you were not born in Spain, you are therefore not Spanish. So if you're not Spanish, you have to be something other than. So it's a broad conversation that we have brought up, and for us the education continues. I am, besides myself, when I go to the Maya speaking communities such as Cristo Rey and all the other ones, and I hear the teachers in school teaching the children that there are no Mayas left, that they have been extinct.
Yeah.
Or that they are mestizo, when actually they are in a Maya community, so therefore these children are Maya. Predominantly Yucatec Maya here in Corozal. So as you can see, our work has just begun.
Wow.
What distinguishes the Yucatec Mayas in Corozal from the Maya community down south?
The Quechua and
like
the
Quechua and the Mopan. What's the distinguishing factors?
What distinguishes a group is their culture, their tradition, their language, their foods, their attire, music, etc. So when you go to the north, right away you will see the clothing is different, and you go, oh, where did that come from? Such as this one that you feel is Yucatec Maya. And then when you go down south, you'll see the Maya people dressing a little bit differently. They speak a different dialect, still Maya, but a different dialect of Maya. And their traditions are maybe similar and slightly different. Yeah. So that's how you can distinguish the different group of Maya in Belize. Because the Maya in the north, the food is different from the Maya in the south and so forth. So there's some slight differences.
I want to go into more so the language, because you did mention language, and I know that is on the list of your vision for your NGO. I was reading a post on your Facebook web page by Andy Chuk, and it was talking about the resistance in language and writing. And I wanted to to ask how you all are connecting yourselves to that writing. He did mention kind of relaying back to the Chilambalam books and seeing how we are connected through writing with the indigenous language and so forth. So I wanna focus more on those kinds of connections and those ways of resistance.
Okay, great. And so I'm going to just turn the camera a little bit so Mr. Roy could also participate in this conversation.
Sure.
Hand it over to Mr. Roy.
Thank you, Adelita. I just want to maybe explain a little more on that differentiation that exists in our own culture, Maya culture, or the Maya in Belize. I think you must remember history and colonialism to point out one basic difference that was created by the British, during the colonial period. And not only between us, even from the Garifuna who are indigenous to Belize. Well, not to Belize, but around indigenous people. Their racist policy divided us for so many years. We did not even know about the Quechua and the Mopan. Okay, we Yucatec Maya in Corozal. So that is the colonialism that we are trying to raise here. And I want to point out that Tune Masewalon is an example of the resistance that we are celebrating. We will be celebrating on the 10th of October. We are the resistance here, and we continue that resistance. And I think you've heard Adelita explaining to you ways that we are fighting, ways that we are stressing that resistance in the north. I would just want to add one more thing here, that when we speak about Yucatec Maya, we're speaking about a large geographical area. We're talking about all the Yucatan Peninsula. So the Yucatec Maya, we want to stress Belize. And we, in fact, are Chactemal Maya within the Yucatecan Peninsula, the Yucatecan Maya. So we want to identify, just like the Quechua Maya in the south, we want people to understand that we are the Chactemal Maya, that were controlling all the area in all northern Belize, part of southern Yucatan, which is today the state of Quintana Roo. So that, and Yucatan is so big, with Chichen Itza and all the other temples, that we want to identify ourselves as the Chactemal Maya, a very, very prosperous, rich province that was, in fact, attempted to be conquered in 1511 with the arrival of the first European.
Does the Chactemal have any association with the current name Chetomal?
No, none at all. None at all. In fact, Chetumal was born in 1538. Chetumal was Payobispo. That was the original name.
Okay.
No, none at all.
So then the Chactemal Maya are of our region here in in the North Corozal, and the label Yucatec is just to give emphasis that they're Maya from that part of the region as well.
Right.
Yes.
That's right. You're correct. Yes. But we identify ourselves as the Chactemal Maya. And let me tell you, just add one more thing, that in terms of resistance, the Chactemal Maya had to resist the two greatest powers of the time, that is Spain and England. It started in 1511, 1531 with the arrival of the Spanish, and in the late 1670s, 1720s, the arrival of the British when they were expelled from the Bay of Campeche, cutting logwood. Remember that the British had turned into woodcutters from piracy. No, they no longer were pirates and cutting logwood, and they were expelled around 1720s, 1730s, and they were the first well, not the first. The Spanish were the second Europeans to enter the coastal areas of Belize, and the first areas were in the Chactemal area. All the what is today Corozal, Sartenera, all those areas there were now occupied by the British. And the Maya had to resist, because wood cutting meant that wood cutting was really inimical or an enemy of the milpa system. The Maya did not know about logwood and mahogany. as being, money earning objects. So what happened is that the first Maya to feel the British displacement, because they don't agree with that, but they started displacing the Maya all from Chactemal, pushing them more into northwest into the Orange region, what is today, but all that area down to Lamanai was Chactemal. Chactemal was a very large province, even reaching the Belize River, from the Rio Hondo to the, which is in Maya, and the New River, through the New River, which is the Macaw River, and influencing or even using the Belize River for their trade purposes.
Yes, go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead, ask me. Yeah.
I was going to say that I'd like to envision the Maya as the longest resisting group in history, because when we talk about them and their resistance, it never stopped. They were never conquered, and they kept fighting. Right? So, up until today. So when we talk about indigenous resistance, we highlight it as the longest resistance in history.
And can I tell you that resistance started in 1531 with the arrival of the two, Gonzalo Guerrero and the other one, Aguilar, into Chactemal. They arrived in Chactemal. 1531, 1511, 20 years later, the Spanish commander Davila sending sending ambassadors to Chactemal to ask for tribute. And we know that the then chief, the Maya leader, Nachan Khan answers, we'll send you turkeys in the shape of spears and corn in the shape of arrows. So that's the resistance that Chactemal started. We were the initiators of that resistance, and which spread into the peninsula as the Spanish moved into the Yucatan.
So I want to, because time is going. So Paul is learning, and I am learning, and we could go on forever. But I really want to highlight the first annual Indigenous Resistance Day hosted by Tone. So let's talk about what you have planned for the day, what the schedule will be like. Are you going to be playing some puck-ta-puck? So tell us some more.
Yes, indeed. And here I have Sadie Bales, and she's going to tell us a little bit about the coordination for the day. But we have partnered up with Niche and the House of Culture, so we're ready to go. We have an exciting day.
Good morning once again, guys. I'll try to wrap it up like you say, since time is and so basically, we're very prideful that this day is going to be celebrated here in Corozal. Most importantly, it's going to be in the Private Village here at the Corozal district. So what we have planned for this day is basically an official ceremony where we will be crowning a Maya princess. Well, more than one princess, because how Ms. Adela had mentioned, they had hosted a summer program, which the kids in itself, they were very involved. And I think we need to give recognition to those kids who wanted to learn and want to learn. Apart from that, we will be having cultural presentations as dances. We will have a spiritual ceremony, like Ms. Adela had mentioned. We will be having food from pibil to tamales, you could imagine. And definitely we will be having a presentation of the Pop-Ta-Pop ball game. So I think everyone is very curious to see how it turns out, We know of the game, but I don't think we've actually seen them play it as yet. And that is one of the things that we want to incorporate here in Corozal, probably since they will be performing and actually playing the game, then we can try to have the kids eventually try to learn this game. It's very aggressive one.
Yes.
So with the luck, we can also have that as part of a resistance where they are enticed to learn and want to know how this is played. We will be having games, tug of war, greasy pig, everything that includes a family-oriented day, so.
You talked about food, and you mentioned pibil and tamal. Is pibil a traditional Yucatec Maya dish? I just have to ask. Is that the fact?
I bet you like it. You like it, right?
Oh, I love it. I love it. Every time pibil come up, I ready for go buy and I ready for
Is
eat.
pibil a Yucatec word?
Yes.
It is. Okay, see, there you go. That's a lesson learned for me. And then tamales, I don't know. Is that also a traditional Yucatec maize? Like you do it different from others? How does that work?
I guess Ms. Adela could
Yes,
speak more on how it's the preparation.
The tamales, you have the tamales torteado, it's the one that is cooked on the fogon. And then the tamales pibil is the one that you put in the ground. And that one takes a lot of hours to complete. But we're going to have both types of tamales.
Shucks. I have to call. I have to call, try it. I think. What other foods would you have beside the pibil and the tamales?
Well, we have traditional Corozal foods like escabeche, tremole, relleno, garnachas, tostadas, and the list goes on and on.
Wow.
So when is it? It's going to be on Monday the 10th.
Exactly, from 9 to 4 o'clock. I'm encouraging everyone to please come out at 9 because we really want to get started, and the ceremony part will be the most important part because, as you know, the Maya were quite spiritual and everything is
Opening ceremonies.
give thanks to God before. So I want to say that we have teamed up with the Shaibe Village Council and the chairman of Shaibe, Mr. Luciano No. And they have worked tremendously wonderfully with us. So we're looking forward to bring a wonderful event to the village of Shaibe and the surrounding villages. I'll take this opportunity to thank our sponsors who are niche, the Ministry of Human Development, of course, the Rum Punch Lodge, Corozal, that's where we're coming from today, and also Radio Romantica FM. So thanks everybody who supported this event. And then also, it's the first one, so we can't have everything that we had on our wish list. But from here, following, this event should continue to grow larger and larger.
Perfect. Ms. Adela, thank you to you and your team and all that you do for Indigenous resistance, the continuation of Indigenous resistance.
Thank you. You wrote it, Kanantaba.
How do you say bye?
Kanantaba.
Kanantaba.
Yeah. In Maya, a lot of the expressions are not literal. So Kanantaba just means take care.
Kanantaba.
I like that.
And Imboltic is thank you very much. So we thank you guys very much for this opportunity this morning.
You're part of the resistance too.
Of course, always. And with that, we are going to take another break and we'll be back with our second conversation for this morning. So stay tuned.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Fulltech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
BWS encourages everyone to practice proper sewage methods. For the system to work properly, don't flush paper towels or clothing materials. Don't allow plastic, baby wipes, or large items like toys to get flushed. These items don't break down easily and cause bad blockage.
These unwanted materials enter into our system, causing blockages in our pipes, which then leads to our manholes overflowing, and in worst case scenario causes our pumps to burn and our systems to fail. So please help us to keep our system clear.
Call 0800-CALL-BWS to report any sewage issues.
Belize Water Services, delivering water and more.
If you are ailing due to a chronic disease and are left permanently invalid before retirement age, you may want to check if you qualify to receive invalidity benefit. The invalidity benefit exists for persons who are unable to continue working due to permanent illness. To qualify, you must be under 60 years old, must be sick for 26 consecutive weeks and certified to be medically unable to perform any type of work, must have at least 5 years of paid SSB contributions and at least 5 paid within the 3 months leading up to your illness. If you do not qualify for the invalidity pension, you may be eligible for the invalidity grant. Want to know more about invalidity benefit? Visit our website or contact any of our offices to have someone assist you. Also, be sure to visit our Facebook page and give us a like to stay informed. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for Financial Literacy Journalism.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
Foreign trade has long been a driving force behind the impressive economic achievements of Taiwan. Supported by the government and domestic industrial and commercial associations, the Taiwan External Trade Development Council was founded in 1970 to enhance Taiwan's economic and export development. Later, TITRA's subsidiary organizations, the Taiwan Trade Center and the Taipei World Trade Center, were also founded to further expand Taiwan's global market reach. In the years since TITRA's establishment, Taiwan's foreign trade has expanded enormously and its industries have flourished. earning worldwide admiration and highlighting the success of Taitra's efforts. Taitra provides comprehensive trade services, helping companies expand to global markets, providing international trade information, presenting digital marketing and e-commerce service, managing international exhibitions and conferences, offering trade training programs and international marketing advisory services, and connecting with international economic organizations. In 2012, Taitra's subsidiary organization, TWTC, became the first member of the World Trade Centers Association to receive 8 WTCA Superior Performance Awards. It was the highest number of honors WTCA had ever awarded to a single member. With a balanced and dynamic marketing approach and guidance from the Taiwan government's new southbound policy, Taitra is promoting Taiwan's goods and services in the world's developed and emerging markets, as well as ASEAN and South Asia. Aiming to promote Taiwan's excellent industries and brands to the world, Taitra has implemented the Taiwan Industry Image Enhancement Project. It combines both online and offline marketing activities and works with the local channels to promote the excellent products of Taiwan. Taitra organizes nearly 300 overseas marketing events every year, helping enterprises explore new avenues of business and strengthening their global reach. In the world's fast-growing regions such as ASEAN and South Asia, Taitra has been growing major image and product promotion events such as Taiwan Expo, Smart Asia India Expo and Summit, AMPA Myanmar and Power Expo Myanmar. Along with the Taitra overseas offices, Taitra formed the India Cooperation Task Force, the Japan Cooperation Task Force, and opened the Taiwan Halal Center to provide services tailored to each market. Taitra also formed the new Southbound Market Networking Community for companies to connect and grow in the South and Southeast Asia markets. To further penetrate the world's markets, Taitra joined the Enterprise Europe Network, EEN, implemented the African Market Promotion Office project, opened the Taiwan Product Promotion Centers in ASEAN, initiated the Taiwan Machinery Buyers Networking Project in Turkey, India, and South Asia, and established business centers in the world's key market regions. Through its 63 global offices, Taitra assists worldwide enterprises in sourcing products and services from Taiwan. Taitra also assists Taiwanese companies in pursuing overseas public tenders. Taitra facilitates Taiwan's service trade by promoting businesses in the fields of medical tourism, pharmaceutical, long-term care, culture and creativity, and franchising.
And we are back. In our second conversation, we'll be talking about the Taiwan Expo coming to Belize. And of course, when that 5 minutes, you saw all that Taitra does across the world in marketing Taiwanese-made product. And so in studios with us this morning, we have His Excellency Ambassador David Chen, as well as Mrs. Belinda Yao, who is the project manager and strategic marketing department, Taiwan External Trade Development Council, Taitra.
Yes.
Good morning to both of you. You have a long title.
Yes.
But based on what we see, Taitra is such a robust system operating across the world in different countries. Let's talk about Belize and some of the work that you're doing in Belize in terms of the needs of our market for your products.
Yeah, we are so, you see, first of all, I want to say we are very pleased to be here.
Yeah.
And Belize is a very beautiful country and a lovely country. And also people here are very, kindly and friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are here for the Taiwan Expo. And we bring our Taiwanese enterprise and some of the Taiwan company, they are already settled a business in Belize. Yeah, to display our latest product for Belize friend.
Ambassador,
yes.
Let's just get into now Taiwan's relationship with Belize, where business is concerned, and how Belize and Taiwan have been working hand in hand to provide products that the Belizean market needs.
Okay. Yeah. Regarding the Taiwan-Belize relationship, Taiwan established diplomatic ties with Belize in 1989, and this year, the year 2022, it's not only the 41st anniversary of Belize independence, but also the 33rd anniversary of Taiwan-Belize diplomatic relationships. And over the past 33 years, Taiwan worked hand in hand with Belizean government to implement a lot of cooperative projects, ranging from the infrastructure, agriculture, aquaculture, education, to climate resilience. And both two countries, two governments also signed numerous agreements. Among these agreements, we signed the agreements, we want to strengthen our bilateral cooperation and also consolidate our partnership. And among these agreements, we focus especially on trade and business, because we know trade plays a very important key in a country's economic growth. So that's why we are very glad to witness the Taiwan-Belize Economic Cooperation Agreement came into effect this January. Wow. Yeah, it's the ECA. Yes. ECA provides almost, I think there's 199 Belizean products, ranging from lobster, ranging from shrimp, fish, to cane sugar. Yeah, with tariff exemption, while it's being sold to Taiwan. Wow. So ECA provides a very good platform for promoting the bilateral trade relationships. So that's why right after the ECA came into effect, we immediately coordinated with the government of Belize to carry out a series of activities that would help promote the bilateral trade interaction, such as we inviting Prime Minister John Briceño to lead a delegation to visit Taiwan this March, and hosting a summit of trade and economy at Taipei, and inviting our Taiwanese entrepreneurs to form a delegation to visit Belize to seek the possible cooperation opportunities. And right now, tomorrow, we are going to open that. We are going to hold the Taiwan Expo 2022 in Belize.
So let's talk about the Expo itself.
Yes.
And what we clearly understand that there is this long-standing friendship between Belize and Taiwan. And thank you so much for highlighting that Belize also plays a key role in Taiwan's economy, because Belizeans naturally believe that Taiwan, yes, we have the relationship, but we see what Taiwan does for us. We don't really get to see what Belize does for Taiwan. So thank you so much for highlighting that. So when it comes to the Expo itself, what can we expect from Taitra? And what can we expect in terms of promoting Taiwanese culture at the Expo?
Yes, indeed, that for the Expo, the main purpose, the main reason we hold the Expo is to make more Belizean people know more about Taiwan. You know that there are three important missions for our embassy, for Taiwan embassy in Belize. The first is to strengthen the bilateral partnership between our two governments. Second one, to advance the well-being and the benefit of our two peoples. And the third one is that to promote the bilateral interactions between our two nations. And for promoting the bilateral interactions between our two nations, mostly important, we have to make more Belizean people to know more about Taiwan. And the Expo provided the Belizean people with a very good platform to know more about Taiwan's economy, Taiwan's trade and industry. Actually, the Expo is not only not only a showcase which displays Taiwan's latest products and the excellence the products of Taiwan, but also it's a meeting.
Okay.
A meeting where the Belizean business owners could meet Taiwan's companies owners, Taiwan business owners, to exchange viewpoints about the future, possible cooperation opportunity, and also for exchange viewpoints about the future recovery after pandemic. And we sincerely hope through the Expo, the Belize and Taiwan could work hand in hand to revitalize our economy in the post-pandemic era.
So Ms. Belinda, what sort of products and services can Belizeans expect to see and experience when they go to the Taiwan Expo?
Yes. This time we invited 31 Taiwanese enterprise came to display their latest products. And they are including, solar power system and auto parts and the vending machine and also, tablet, every kind of thing like delicious bubble tea and delicious, Taiwan food. So every kind of thing you can think. So see us first. See, you will see a lot of things. So we also hope, even Belize people, business people, and also, local people here interested in Taiwan products can come to see us.
Are there opportunities for small businesses to come to the Expo and see if they are able to collaborate with some of these Taiwan?
Yeah, it's of course. You see, we warmly welcome everybody to come. Also, local small business. We also want to help the small business people. They can, come to Taiwan Pavilion to see, and we can, do cooperation for in the future and know more about Taiwan.
Yeah, so a lot of these products, they are made in Taiwan, correct?
Yes.
So in terms of these automobile products, a lot of them you guys actually have factories set up in Taiwan and manufacturing places where you make these products, correct?
Indeed, you are right.
Yeah.
Actually, in fact, Taiwan's it's a main part of the global supply chains. And also plays a very important role in the international economic development and the international trade. Actually, when I came here, I found a lot of things. Belize share a lot of things in common with Taiwan. And for example, in terms of the economic development, Taiwan transformed itself from an agricultural society to a labor-intensive industrial society, and to today's society focusing on ICT and the high-tech industry. So we would like to share our successful experience of in the economic development with our good friends in Belize.
You mentioned that the Expo itself, and we're so grateful. But you mentioned the Expo itself. So you have the opening ceremony tomorrow evening.
Yeah, tomorrow evening.
And why tomorrow evening?
Tomorrow evening because we want to make because we also maybe Brenda is more good at me to answer this question, because we have a lot of Taiwan excellence products just arrived in Belize. So we need time to display that, to set our booths for our Taiwanese companies.
You see, some of our delegates, they will fly to Belize this morning at a new time also, and this evening. And some of them they arrived yesterday. So it's far away from Taiwan to here.
Yes.
The whole Pacific Ocean.
You see, I fly from Taiwan to here. Almost all time is over 18 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's not a counter, you stay there to waiting for the plane.
Yeah.
And they are bringing their products.
Yeah.
Some of them are bringing their products to us.
No, it's by shipment.
Yeah, by
Yeah.
shipment.
Shipment.
Yeah.
Could you believe
That's what
that?
I mean.
We began our shipment. We start our shipment
Yes.
in June.
Yes.
Wow.
And you're right, just
Yeah,
right. You can
that's
see that the
crazy.
shipment it took a long
Wow.
time, very long time.
Because not all
more
of
than
these
3 months.
businesses are operating in Belize. There's
Yeah.
some that's operating in Belize, correct?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's not all. How much? What's the difference in terms of how much businesses are in Belize and how much are coming over?
Oh,
You see, we are total about 31, but some over here is 5. And they will
Okay.
bring about 26 companies.
Wow.
Okay. But because, COVID-19, some of them, they can come here by themselves. And some of them, they have a product with
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
And we will showcase for them.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, so in the wee hours of the evening, you will have the opening ceremony, and then the following day, the Saturday,
Yeah.
is
Yes.
the event.
Yeah, the event
Yes.
that's from 9 to 5. Could I introduce the location?
Of course.
Opening hour of the day,
Please
because
tell
we
viewers.
sincerely invite all the Belizean people to visit our Expo. Yeah, and the Taiwan Expo 2022 will be held from October 8th through October 9th. The opening hour will be from 9 a.m. through 5 p.m. every day. And the location, the expo will be held at the Caribbean Motors. It's a showroom. And it's located at the 3.5 miles Philip Golson Highway at Belize City. So we sincerely invited
one of the things that Belizeans love about expos is that they're able to get good deals. Is that something that we can expect when we go to the expo?
Yes, of course. You see, Taiwan's product, the quality is very high, and the price is very low. Yeah, because we made from Taiwan. Also, people here, Belize, import a lot of things. So it's, the cost is different. So like our friend in Belize, they say Taiwan product is very cheap and the quality is very high. So we invite all the Belize people and our friends to come here to see us.
The only product that I know is not cheap from Taiwan are their tea leaves. Every time I try to buy tea leaves. Tea leaves. Yes, every time I try to buy tea
So you
leaves
like
from
the
Taiwan.
Taiwan tea?
I love
Oh,
oolong tea
right,
from
okay,
Taiwan.
Yeah.
And
I
then
never had to.
it's like a bag like this, and it looks like it's like vacuum sealed and compressed to hold from the cargo, and it's not cheap.
I've never had, so maybe I should try.
Yeah, it's some of them. It's a very high quality.
Yes.
So it's very expensive.
Like
But some,
coffee.
yes,
Yes.
yes,
It's a different kind.
yes, different kind of
Taiwan
label.
is different.
Yeah.
But I love their tea. It's really good. So I can expect tea at the expo.
Oh, of course, of course.
Along with bubble milk tea,
Tea is
regular tea.
Yes.
It's really good.
Yes.
So at 9 a.m. October 8th to
October
the
9th.
9th.
Yes.
So it's Saturday,
and Sunday.
Yes.
Yes.
So
if you miss
please.
a
No
Saturday,
excuses. You
Yeah.
have a day off on Sunday to go to the expo.
Yeah, come to join us to visit our expo with your family. Yeah,
Yeah.
very sincerely welcome.
well, we do appreciate Taiwan, and we think that there is a lot that a shared knowledge, a lot of knowledge that can be shared.
Yeah.
This is the first time an expo like this is happening, correct?
No,
Taiwan Expo?
we once had it 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 years
Before
ago.
COVID?
Before COVID.
Okay,
yeah,
so you're
we
bringing
suspended before COVID. Yeah.
You're bringing it back, and I think there's a lot that can be learned. There's a lot of shared knowledge that we can have, a lot of shared experiences that can be had. And I love the fact that Belizeans are also exporting products into Taiwan, and the fact that the people of Taiwan love our products as well. And so it's only right that we embrace the product and that we embrace this relationship that we have
I
with
wanted to tap in more because we look at these materials that are coming from Taiwan, and of course they're already manufactured materials. So you were listing the materials that Belize provides to Taiwan, and those seem to be more raw materials.
Yeah, raw material.
And you said it's almost 199 products.
199.
So apart from sugar and apart from wood, I would imagine, what is another product that you think Belizeans might not be aware of that you can find at Taiwan?
A product from Belize.
A product from Belize that Belizeans might not be aware of that we export to Taiwan, because I know they have marine shark.
Marine shark. Right now that's marine shark. Marine shark is also very popular in Taiwan. Right now we can have it. We can buy it at our supermarkets. It's already on the shelf of the supermarket in Taiwan. And that's become very popular. But if you ask me, because I have already mentioned that Taiwan share a lot of similarity with Belize, but you do have a very high quality raw materials like lobster. I believe it or not, our company has already signed the intention letter of intention to purchase every year worth $2 million of lobster from Belize. We have already signed that, one of our seafood company in Taiwan.
Wow.
So you see, you are very proud. You should be very proud of your products. That they're very popular in Taiwan. So that's our hope. We could, promote more and more interaction on trade and business.
Do you think that the Taiwanese population that lives in Taiwan knows about Belize just as much as Belizeans know about Taiwan?
I think so. Most of the Taiwanese diaspora here, they are already Belizean citizens. I do believe so.
Yes, that's true.
And then they love this place. They love this country, indeed.
Is there any, I understand there's other events coming up. Are you able to speak to us about another event that's coming up?
By the end of this year, this is the biggest ECA related event. But we still encourage our entrepreneurs and businessmen to form a delegation to visit Belize, to have interact with the local business owners. So probably by the end of this year, we could coordinate another delegation come to Belize. That would be good for our bilateral interaction.
Ambassador, I wanted to talk a bit more about food. Yes. I probably it's because it's breakfast time and I'm hungry. I wanted to talk a bit more about the food from Taiwan and cultural food and what it is that those look like and what they are. Could you list some of them and maybe tell us a bit about some
of them? Okay. That's,
I know I'm putting you on the spot.
You really make me miss my hometown because I haven't come back to Taiwan for 3 years, more than 3 years, because of pandemic. Before I came to Belize, I was worked in Miami, our consulate in Miami. So I came from Miami directly to Belize. You really make me miss
I really like their this steamed bamboo.
Steamed bamboo.
Yes, and the steamed sweet potato leaves and spinach.
If you ask me what's the most famous typical Taiwanese food, I would suggest is xiaolongbao. It's a bao. You know that it was a means.
Okay.
Yes. Steam bao. You mentioned about that.
Okay.
And the second one, the bubble tea. Bubble milk tea and pineapple cake. Pineapple cake.
Yes.
I think you have a very high quality pineapple here, even better than Taiwan. And then we make it very sweet and juicy. You made it into a cake.
How about your I want to say use the word favorite dish in Belize.
Yeah.
Your favorite Belizean dish? Do you have one?
Oh, barbecue and
Yes.
and the rice and the fried chicken.
Oh, he like everybody like
Yeah,
and
yeah,
yourself. You
yeah,
like
you see,
Indonesian food?
people here they invite me. You must test Belize lobster and also the beef.
The beef.
So you
beef,
must
beef,
try.
Yeah.
And have you had any dishes?
Not yet. The ambassador will invite us.
She just arrived the day before yesterday.
This is your first time in Belize?
Yeah, the first time.
Yes.
Oh, you need to take her on a tour.
Yeah,
You've been
yeah.
here 3 years. He don't know Belize.
So that is our main purpose, to make Taiwan closer to Belize and Belize closer to Taiwan. So we are going to invite more and more delegation from Taiwan
Well,
to
come to
that's
Belize
excellent.
to know more about Belize.
And definitely one way to make us closer is through the Expo, which is taking place
October 8th
October
to the 9th at 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. So if you miss Saturday, you could go Sunday.
Yeah, it promises to be an excellent showcase
a lot of
of quality Taiwan-made products at a very low price.
Love it. Yeah.
So you don't
And
want
the
to miss
food.
it. And the food.
Ambassador, Ms. Yao, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us more about the Expo. And of course, you're welcome to join us anytime.
Thank you so much.
thank you.
For having us. Thank you very much. Thank
And we are going to take our next break, and we'll be back with our third conversation for this morning. So stick around. This is OYE Live on 5.
With eCash, bill payment is extremely convenient, and all utility companies accept eCash payments. What's even better? You get to split bills with your roommates, siblings, or whoever you desire. Simply open your eCash app, go to Bill Pay, tap the respective utility company, enter the information, and pay the bill. Then tap the transaction made. Tap Split the bill. Select Evenly. Send the request to who you are splitting the bill with, and get notified when they pay. Talk about making life easy and avoiding confusion. You can split the bill for restaurants, grocery stores, and for any eCash payment you make. To find your next yummy meal, hair treatment, or chill spot, simply open the app and utilize the geolocation service to see nearby businesses that accept eCash. Geolocation and bill payment make life a whole lot easier.
It is our resolve to peacefully secure every square inch of territory, land and sea that led us, upon approval in a referendum, to the ICJ for final determination of any claim to Belize by Guatemala. We are also resolute in rolling back the plague of poverty so that every Belizean can enjoy the many bounties of our homeland. This is why in January, the $5 hour minimum wage will be implemented. It is why the introduction of free secondary school education has begun at 3 major high schools on the south side of Belize City and will eventually be rolled out countrywide. It is why we continue to hand over the keys to new starter homes heavily subsidized by your government to needy Belizeans in every corner of Belize.
Standing over this. Messi.
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment.
NextGen, the ultimate digital experience.
Everyone, including our elderly, needs to stay connected with their loved ones. With Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program, senior citizens can sign up for 10 megabytes of unlimited internet at a low monthly cost of $25. Citizens over 65 can sign up with a valid ID and receive free installation plus 1 month free on selected broadband plans. Visit a Smart showroom near you for more information on how you can enjoy Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program. Smart, bringing people together.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for Financial Literacy Journalism.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5 Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
And we are back. Thank you for joining us. If you're just tuning in, we have our friends from the Friends for Conservation Development. Rafael Manzanero, the Executive Director, good morning. And Esther Sanchez, Programs Director, good morning. You're in with us to talk about the macaw breeding or nesting season. So let's get into it. Why is this initiative important? What is it and why is it important?
Well, it's really a very important endeavor that we have been doing over the last 8 years or so, because macaws are one of the main birds that is being targeted annually. And we don't have a lot. Yeah. In Belize, we would have about 350 individual parrots that are left. And so the program is really centering in terms of protecting the nesting sites for the scarlet macaws. Now, the chickabull is the main breeding habitat for the bird. And so, we believe that in order to maintain that population, then the habitat and the nesting area in particular has to be protected. And that is what we would do annually.
Who are targeting these birds?
Well, these have, I would say 100% are really from Guatemala. So these are poachers that annually they come in. They basically know also the season when the parrots are around the area. They already know the nesting areas. So pretty much they are just like a biologist. Right. I mean, they basically know everything about the parrots.
And research.
Yeah, so they do their own kind of analysis and they know where these parrots are. And so it's really a sort of a game plan, really, who is there first, who is able to protect it instead of being poached.
And why is it that these birds are so
sought after,
heavily targeted and sought after?
Well, the main reason is really for the pet trade. Okay. So the parrots are basically being extracted out from the nest. They are taken into Guatemalan communities. And then from there, after, they might be sold in the country in Guatemala or either exported out. Okay. We don't know so much about that trade at this point, although it has been ongoing for many years. It's a very secretive movement in terms of the scarlet macaws. Now, also mindful that other parrots are also being targeted. But the main ones that we concentrate a lot of the efforts is really on the scarlet macaws. So technically, a parrot, once it is poached, there are reports of 12,000 quetzales, which is about $3,000 or $4,000 Belize for each one of the parrots.
Because of, I would imagine how heavily sought after these birds are and how beautiful they are, and perhaps considered exotic pets. But it's wrong. It's wrong to take them out of their natural habitat in this manner and to decrease their population in this way.
They're also very intelligent.
Okay.
And I think that's something that makes them, people look for them as pets because they're very intelligent, so they learn a lot of things very quickly. You teach them.
Like how to speak.
Well, maybe not to speak, but they can do, different tricks, and I guess that's why people might also.
Are they easily domesticated? Or does it take time to train?
I think from our experience, we see that we have to be very cautious on how we interact with them because they learn very quickly. So I think we would make them.
Talk to us about the misconception of the macaws in Belize, because for the most part, I don't think that people are aware that we don't have a lot of them left. So why do we think that they're everywhere? Why do we believe then that we don't need a breeding season for macaws?
Well, as far as I recall, a couple of years ago, some of the tourism guides in Cayo, for example, said, well, if the macaws disappear, well, what about it?
Yeah.
Because they could not really see an economical gain out of that. So tourism in terms of an economy is one that you can see in Red Bank, but in Chiquibul, largely because of the level of insecurity in the past. The idea of tourism was a little bit kind of far-fetched. But I tend to believe that the scarlet macaws, as the road is now being actually paved, as how there is a big of a road construction occurring from Cayo, San Antonio, way down to Caracol. So that is going to be now a major attraction for people visiting those areas. And the macaws are basically right there in a hidden kind of a segment of the forest. And so I think that economically is going to bring more importance for it over the time period in the future. Also, you literally can see also the picture of macaws all around. The rum and all of that, it has the picture of the macaws.
So they don't feel like they're gone.
But they are very, very in small pockets, even in Guatemala and also in Mexico, because this is a subspecies. In other words, there are scarlet macaws like in Honduras, in other parts of Central America, but this one here is a subspecies. And in reality, in each one of the countries, they would have approximately the same number. So if we look at it, we probably have in the world 1,500 or so parrots that are left in terms of these subspecies.
So Esther, talk to us about the breeding program itself. Tell us how FCD manages to do this every single year, and what do you feel the results are this year that are probably different from the beginning?
Well, again, I think they probably talking about the nesting season, right? From the months of February, March, the macaws already start to look for nests in the Chiquibul, along the Raspaculo, up the upper the Macaw rivers. We have our research team comprised of 4 persons who are on the ground, and so from those months of March, they basically establish themselves out on the ground around these different nesting areas where they start to do the biomonitoring. So they start to check nests, they start to do observations, they start to see which nests are active. They have to climb trees, they verify how many eggs are laid, how many eggs hatch, and eventually they monitor this until the chicks, they leave their nest and they fledge. So this is an endeavor that takes about 7 months a year, where they're out in the field. So I think it's more of monitoring that nesting period until we can verify that the chicks have left their back into the wild. However, there are cases where where they might be what we call at-risk chicks, whether they might be in areas that we have verified that they have been poached before in the past. Like this year, we had 4 chicks that were extracted into our in situ facility. So they basically were cared for outside. and then released back into the wild.
I mean, kudos to your team
Yeah.
and the effort that they do. I mean, they're climbing those high trees to do this kind of work. I mean, I wasn't aware that there's this sort of effort going on out there where from February you have a team out there monitoring their behaviors and the breeding of these animals. If the population is so low, isn't there something that can be done in terms of having your own breeding program to kind of increase the population? Isn't that a consideration if it's not already happening?
I think the idea of breeding in terms of an in situ program, it's always one of the last options.
Okay.
In fact, in order for us really to rescue those 4 parrots this year, we had to get a special permit from the forest department. So we don't really do it just automatically.
Okay.
So we have to prove that indeed, those parrots, if left alone in the nest, they will be actually robbed from the nest.
Right.
So based on that, there's a standing protocol. Now, I've always believed that wild animals actually do need to do it in terms of their breeding and living in a natural habitat, unless you are really reaching to the point where there's no other options. So one of the options for us is really to have a presence on the ground. It basically means really for us to have like the volunteers, to have the research unit on the ground. And then we also have an anti-poaching unit, which deals then really to just be able to concentrate their efforts in arresting, in documenting, and being able really to reduce the level of poaching.
So the breeding, the program itself for monitoring the breeding, it's just for the breeding, so you don't necessarily take analysis for survival rates.
Well, we do collect all the data. So we have information that we've been collecting over the years. We know, we already have an idea when eggs are hatched, how long they will they take before they hatch, how long from their estimate when they are leaving. We already know how many eggs, what are the average number of eggs a macaw would lay. That's all information that we have been be able to gather over the years just by being there and being able to be observing and collecting this information.
And how much land mass do you cover in your research?
Our area of focus, like I said, is mainly around the Raspaculo, Upper Raspaculo River, the Macaw River, which is a doable area for the team. In addition to the 4 personnel we have from FCD, we also count on volunteers every year. So we basically make a call out for volunteers to come in during the peak period. So from the months of May to all the chicks have fledged, which is around August, more or less August, July, August. We have volunteers coming in for 1 week periods. For 7 days, they basically camp out in the ground, out in the field, remote camp for 7 days and just explore, basically just learn and be able to assist by the mere fact of having additional foot on the ground. That's already being able to cover those areas. No? So that area, I think, is where we, like this year, we were able to monitor about 15 nests. But because birds sometimes come back and use the same areas, so that's our area of the focus that we have. But we do know that there are other areas where...
Right, I was going to ask if there's other areas of interest where these birds also nest and breed and populate that could, I don't know, perhaps increase the population numbers accounted for.
Well, there are other areas. I mean, we have been conducting through anti-poaching unit as well, special expeditions just to verify these different areas. But these are very remote areas. I mean, talking about days to get to these areas just to be there. So there are some areas that we are not able to man fully, and that's where I think then the in situ would be an option to look at, where we know that they will be poached. So
Friends for Conservation is it's an NGO, and so I would imagine that most of your work takes a hard effort of volunteers. So how can volunteers volunteer with FCD?
Well, for this specific program, we have a citizen science program, what we call it, because they basically become citizens, scientists out there with the members, and it's open to anybody once you're over the age of 18. We have an application form which we normally post it on Facebook early on in the year, some months or sometime before. They would be able to apply. Once they fill application, then we start to discuss with them. We start to set dates, and then they come. From the time they get to our office, from there we are responsible to mobilize them to the field, from there up the skiff to the base camp, and from there they're under responsibility of our research staff. So it has been a very good, at least the feedback we have been getting. This year we had 13 volunteers. In the past we've had an average of 20 volunteers a season. Which is, when you multiply the persons by the number of days that they spend out there, it really becomes substantial in terms of, the assistance that they give back to FCD.
Does FCD collaborate with other environmental NGOs or governmental bodies to support this kind of?
Well, we've reaching out to different bodies as well. Like this year, we had students through Gale University that came in. We have some volunteers who every year, I guess, they save their vacation time so they can come back and spend their week with us. Yeah, we've worked with the tour guides as well, and so we do reach out to these different groups so that they can. They can participate. Like I said, I think more than what we get back, it's also the experience that these guys get back in being able to just spend, in a wild area, in a natural area, and really enjoy what the Chicky Bull has to offer.
What is one fact about scarlet macaws that you really want the public to know?
I think the key message here is that, it is really the biggest parrot in Belize. It's the most colorful one that you can get, and in fact the vibrant, the kind of the dynamics of the Chicky Bull jungles. Whenever you see a parrot like this, flying over, it really gives you the kind of the exuberance.
How big do they grow?
It's actually like this big,
Wow.
Yeah. So and in fact, even whenever it's a small, it's a baby one, they already are like big parrots, and then they start their feathers in terms of all the colors and everything. So I mean, for us, it is the emblematic species for the Chicky Bull, because the Chicky Bull is a live forest, and so whenever you see the macaws. And this is one of the areas where you don't have to hike in terms of seeing a scarlet macaw. So you can be on a skiff, you can be on a boat, and you can see it. Everywhere else you'll have to hike really to see these parrots. And so this is really a very special place. And for us, it is one of the umbrella species. So we put a lot of the effort, because by doing this, you are also protecting many other parrots and other animals in the forest by having that presence.
Esther?
I think being able to just see them out there flying free, I mean, you might get to see them at the Belize Zoo on pictures, but being able to experience that firsthand, I think, is really unique, is really special, just listening to them. And I think for volunteers, being able to, in the morning, first thing you hear is just the macaws out there, making all this noise out there. It's really special, and I think that's something that people or kids in the future should be able to experience.
I agree.
And I think that's really the reason why we have our teams, our volunteers, and the sponsors as well who are supporting this kind of initiative.
And that's why we appreciate the work that you guys do, because us in the urban areas here, we wake up to the sound of motorcycles and big truck to make noise. But versus, well,
I wake up to a holler monkey.
Right.
Yeah.
Versus just being able to have that real experience out there, and being able to see these parrots in their natural habitat, and to be able to see as a Belizean, that for me, in the sense that it's not necessarily my property, but that belongs to me as a country, as a Belizean, and that's the beauty of our country. And so we definitely commend you guys for the work that you continue to do.
Where can we see the stats of your analysis and so forth about this season?
Well, every year at the end of the season, we develop a report. So we have reports for the past couple of years. The one this year, because it's just closing, we are in the process yet of compiling the reports. The report that will be for this specific 2022 Macaw biomonitoring season.
On your page, on your website, where can we find
we have it. You could contact us at FCD, and then you can provide, we'll share it, because we do have it for public knowledge as well. Yes.
Thank you, Esther. Thank you, Mr. Manzanero. Thank you so much for coming in, and like Paul rightfully mentioned, commend the work that FCD does and continues to do.
Certainly. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And with that, we are going to take our final break, and we'll be back for wrap up, so stay tuned.
Including our elderly needs to stay connected with their loved ones. With Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program, senior citizens can sign up for 10 megabytes of unlimited internet at a low monthly cost of $25. Citizens over 65 can sign up with a valid ID and receive free installation plus 1 month free on selected broadband plans. Visit a Smart showroom near you for more information on how you can enjoy Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program. Smart, bringing people together.
Excuse me, sir?
Yeah.
But how can you pay with your phone?
B-Box.
What? What is B-Box?
B-Box have been his newest rewards program.
Really? Where I could get it from?
Man, check on the website bbox.bz or you could download it from the App Store. And if you still don't know, check that young lady there and she'll hook you up.
I will surely do so. Good afternoon, miss. Can you hook me up with B-Box?
Your life just got a lot less complicated with Belize Bank Contactless MasterCard Debit Card. Introducing our Standard Debit and MasterCard Platinum Debit Cards. Now you can make purchases anywhere MasterCard is accepted with one tap, pay and go. Your contactless card never has to leave your hands, especially in these times. And your card is embedded with multiple layers of security. Platinum card holders get to enjoy extra benefits like price protection, purchase protection, trip inconvenience, and luggage protection, just to name a few. Start enjoying a cashless lifestyle today with the Belize Bank.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for Financial Literacy Journalism.
We are back, and just like that, Friday Junior, Thursday morning, Open Your Eyes has come to a close.
April, we had 3 wonderful conversations this morning, starting with the World Indigenous Resistance Day.
Do you know to say it?
Moving on to the Taiwan Expo in Belize. And then, of course, the Macaw breeding season. We want to thank all of our guests. I know that currently your organization is a part of the
Culture Symposium.
We
are hosting.
You're hosting, exactly. It's an annual symposium.
Yes.
It happened last year, I remember clearly.
Yeah.
How's that going? It's in its second day, right?
It's in its second day, and right after Open Your Eyes, I have to go rush to go do that.
Yeah.
But today is central, focusing more on our Belizean presenters and our citizen scientists, and as well as tomorrow. But I'm very excited for today. Today we have a lot of students. We have a young man who is our first presenter, and he's 16.
Wow.
And he did an archival historical research, and that, to me, I think that is why we do Culture Symposium.
Do people still have time to join?
People can join anytime. It is free on Facebook and YouTube.
Okay.
You could just watch
Okay.
and interact and be a part of our Q&A session with our guests.
Oh,
but
nice.
we have 16-year-old, 20-year-olds, they're doing these ginormous waves in Belizean society, and I think it's important to highlight that. So we're so proud. But thank you, Paul, for asking. Thank you.
Of course.
But before I go, we have a birthday shout out this morning, and we would like to say a very happy birthday to Aria Wait.
Aww.
Happy birthday, Aria. I love your hair.
Right.
Your beads are matching with your
and
uniform.
your princess crown.
She has a crown going on. Aria is about to enjoy a very happy birthday from your family. with lots of love, and we hope you have a wonderful day. Eat cake.
Beautiful smile.
Beautiful. I love it. And if you have a birthday shout out or just any questions and comments, you can drop us a line right here sometime at hawaii@channel5belize.com. You can catch our live stream on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ and all of our highlights on Instagram at OYE Belize. Belize, thank you so much for tuning in. You open your eyes.
And you start your morning right.
Be sure to keep your eyes, your minds,
and your hearts open.
Have a safe and wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.